Right? So, very good morning, all of you. So, again, back to current affairs, almost all after a month or more. Any whole hot topics are there, but we have to keep in mind always our exam, right? Debate discussions are but natural. Emotions and passions will rise. Okay, you will take sides also, but examination, finally, we have to crack. So, for that, what are the things that we can generate from the ongoing current issues? Strictly to the exam point of view. So, once you pose, perhaps what are the questions, then I'm sure that you'll get into. So, let us today quickly get into because all the issue, I'm sure that you are aware of it. Okay. So, let us go in some sort of a questionnaire model rather than a lecture so that it's more interactive now. Okay, recollecting innumerable things. So now that election schedule came it up. So when is our election here? May, April, April or May in Telangana and Andhra. May 13th. Is it assembly elections or parliament elections? So if I say it's wrong from our point of view, maybe for a layman it's right. Why I'm right? If I said that you are wrong, or my proposition itself is wrong, for layman it is right, but not for us. No doubt in general we call parliament elections, but is it really parliament elections? Huh? No. It's only Lok Sabha, not for Rajya Sabha, right? Maybe here and there. Okay? Maybe the things. So always what I mean to say is when we are into this knowledge related and certain technicalities, legalities we need to keep in mind. So elections for mainly for the Lok Sabha, right? Though Lok Sabha members, Rajya Sabha members, together we call them as member of the parliament. Why? Whereas state level, MLA, MLC different, right or wrong? Member of legislative assembly, legislative council, MLA different. There, no differentiation. MP in the bracket they will pay LS Lok Sabha, MP Rajya Sabha. That means we adopted a bicameralism wherein two houses is essential, a sine qua non. Okay, when it's a sine qua non, it's a must. Okay, so Rajya Sabha, what is the English name of Rajya Sabha? Already appeared in our exam. Civils also came, groups came. English name of Rajya Sabha, Council of States. English name of Lok Sabha, small things, right? But still counts for this. House of People. Quickly tell me when in India bicameralism introduced? 1919. Government of India Act 1919. What is called Montague Chelmsford reforms. With that, the bicameralism. By the way, when the very element of elections was introduced in India during the British regime, right? Element of election. That is, people started electing their representative. not indirect election, direct election. Of course, conditions apply. At that time, all are not having right to vote. Now we have what we call universal adult franchise. Okay, franchise right to vote. Adult only who cross certain age. Previously 21, now it is 18. Right? Which amendment reduced voting age from 21 to 18? Sure. 61st constitutional amendment year 1989. That is the Rajiv Gandhi era, ending part is concerned. And adult, that is what it is. Universal, all. That means no discrimination here on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, property, education, etc., etc. Because previously we have the discrimination. So all the citizens, only citizens will enjoy, not the persons. Last time we discussed when it says Article 14, person. Person includes citizen, non-citizens. But voting is only for citizens. All political rights enjoyed only by the things. So from the day the constitution came into force, right? In India, we adopted universal adult franchise. Which article of the constitution talking about? Universal adult franchise. Last time while discussing election commissions, 326, 324 election commission, 326 related. So like these things quickly, by the way, I'll come to element of election introduced. Before 1919 Act, what is that? 1909. What they call 1909 Act is also known as Minto Morley or Morley Minto? Not. Eh? Strictly speaking, it is Morley Minto. Though arithmetically Minto Morley. Morley or the Secretary of State, Minto or the Governor General. Whom we call Secretary of State? Like our Cabinet Secretary. Huh? Huh? Nothing but Foreign Minister. Even today in America, Foreign Minister is called as Secretary of State. At the time, Britain, they're called as Secretary of State. He will take care of Indian affairs. The number of foreign ministers sometimes, right? Whoever take care of Indian affairs, they used to call it. Okay. So then Morley. Same thing, Montague. Montague was the Secretary of State and the Governor General. Because once the British started ruling India, they want to establish a link between the British government and the Indian government. That's the name Viceroy. Viceroy. Deputy to the royal, the Governor General. And the link is the Secretary of State. From when British started ruling India? Quick. From when British government directly started ruling India? British government. My question is very clear. 18? After 1858, Queen's Proclamation. 57, Sipai Mutiny. Before, it is ruled by East India Company, but regulated by British government. That's what we have Regulating Act. In which year? The first Regulating Act? 1770? 2 or 3? So once I put the question, it is right. Who was called as the founder of British Empire in India? Whom we called the founder of British Empire in India? 1757, Battle of Plassey. Who was the governor responsible? Robert Clive. Okay, Robert Clive, then governor of East India Company, defeated Siraj-ud-Dawla, right? And replaced him with Mir Jafar, his brother-in-law, and got some Diwani rights. So with that, they started indirect, right? All this because the quick recollection, though 1892 Act provided indirect election, but the direct element of election was introduced by 1909 Act. Then the process started. And everyone knows about much in India is 1935 Act, followed by 1937 elections. So Congress formed the government in 7 provinces, two Muslim League, two coalition. Then itself we have, isn't it? So we got experience with this system. The reason why we continued our parliamentary system, British parliamentary system, virtually. British introduced their system. Britain is called as mother of parliament, right? Number of exams you have the GK question. Britain is called as the mother of parliament. Even in the modern day, this democracy started in Britain. What is the where the seeds of democracy sowed in Britain, for that matter, in the world in the modern era? In which year? By what? Don't know. They call start with M. Magna, Magna Carta, great paper. If you translate it to English, which year? 1215. Good. Magna Carta. People revolted against then draconian policies of the king, forced the king to sign on a document. Without the consent of the people, you cannot impose taxes. Mainly that. Consent of the people means people representative. They are called as ministers. They sit in the small cabin, become the cabinet. Okay. Then one among them is the prime minister. Who is the first prime minister for Britain and for the world? Hmm? Walpole. Once in Group 2 exam it came. Walpole, Walpole. He was the first in Britain, in the world itself in the modern era. Though ancient Greece, Rome, they talked about some direct democracy in the modern era. Who is the present British Prime Minister? టక్కన అడిగితే రిషి సునాక్. Who was the Prime Minister of Britain when India got independence? Civils లో కూడా వచ్చింది క్వశ్చన్. Clement Attlee. So these few things you need to be aware. Okay. Maybe recollect when the election scenario and everything is taking place. Right? It's not just the thing. Now it's a midterm or by-elections present. What is going on is a midterm or by-election. Huh? You have to say neither. It is a general election we call. When we call general election, elections held periodically. For every 5 years, if elections are held, it's a general election. Before general election, parliament dissolved. Am I right or wrong? What is right? If it is no, what is right? Question అర్థమైందా? Before this general election, parliament dissolved. That is, I said. Am I right or wrong? What is right? It's a Lok Sabha dissolved, not parliament. That's what in the beginning I said. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. Shashwata Sabha is a permanent house. It is not subject to dissolution. Then Raddu Chetaniki Villet. The reason why every 2 years you have elections. 1/3 members elected. So it will always be there. Only Lok Sabha dissolved. Dissolved until next elections. Before completing the term 5 years, if dissolved, that called midterm. It may be 4 years, it may be 1 year, it may be 2 years, doesn't matter. What is by-election? Some vacancy arised. మీ wording చాలా important. తక్కని చచ్చిపోయాడు అన్నది. If died, if resigned. Okay? It may be by death, it may be by resignation, it may be by disqualification. అనర్హత వేటేస్తుంటాను. Anything it may be. Then elections may held within 6 months. Election has to be held within 6 months. Isn't it? That is a by-election. So if the vacancy arises, it has to be finished within this time. Assume now elections over. Which party will form the government? Don't say Congress, BJP, like, right? Whichever party got the majority where? In parliament? In Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha? So it's all relating to Lok Sabha. Okay? ఎందుకు ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు ఇంతసేపు? ఇట్స్ ఆల్ రిలేటెడ్ టు లోక్సభ. విచ్ అవర్ పార్టీ గాట్ ద మెజారిటీ? హౌ మచ్ మెజారిటీ రిక్వైర్డ్? 2/3 or 3/4? Neither. What is right? Simple majority. That's called half plus 1. Half plus 1. Out of 100, 51 is sufficient to form the government. Whichever the leader of that group, they will become. It may be pre-poll alliance, post-poll alliance, all the things will be there. Isn't it? Assume no party get the majority to form the government. Simple majority. What is that scenario called? Hung. H-U-N-G, hung. Hung parliament. Right? No party got the clear majority, that is simple majority to form the government. Then what is the solution? Coalition. Two or more parties come together to form a government. Assume coalition not happen. What is the second solution? Totally there are three solutions. Of course, fourth is also there. Minority government. What is minority government? Single party form the government with the outside support of other parties. Only one party will form the government, though it is not having majority, but with the support of outside support, not inside, outside support of other. That means coalition, two or more parties. All parties involved in the ministry. మంత్రులు అవుతారు అందరూ, మంత్రివర్గంలో ఉంటారు. But whereas minority is not the case. Only that party, members in the ministry, other support. For example, we have the best example, Chandrasekhar. Hardly 50 plus 52 or 56, I'm subject to correction. He is having the strength. And he became the prime minister. Lok Sabha, what is the strength? మీ ఇష్టం, ఏబిసిడీలు అన్నీ వచ్చేస్తున్నాయా? నాకు చాయిస్ ఇచ్చేస్తున్నారు. వాట్ ఇస్ ద లోక్సభ స్ట్రెంత్? 543, no 5. Why? That Anglo-Indians, no, now it is not there, right? We have done away with. So 543 only. So half plus 1. They has to get it. So hardly 56. Assume it. I'm subject to correction. 52, 56. I'm this. Then how we become? With the then support of the Congress, is they are having 200 plus. Together, these two parties, they have that 273 plus. Okay. So like this, there's a minority government. If these two not happen, what is the solution? It is the national government. All parties in the government, no opposition. Okay. If all these three failed, not happened, like Israel, go for election again. Within 2 years, they have 5 times elections. Right? What is the parliament of Israel? Knesset. Right? There's a single house, right? So like this, you may quickly recollect. And finally, who will conduct the elections of India? Sure? How many members? 5. Election Commission. I think online I'm not saying this, okay? So Clement Astley, Rishi Sunak, names Ramya put it. Okay, good. No? It is the free, right? Who are they right now? So recently, the 2 more election commissioners were appointed. So totally 1 plus one chief election commissioner, 2 election commissioners. Now recently these 2 election commissioners are appointed. Why? The day they assumed office, elections timetable came. Right? Schedule, they announced it. Just few days back, 3-4 days back, 1 election commissioner resigned. Isn't it? Who will appoint election commissioners? President, can he on his own? Can president appoint on his own election commissioners? Present scenario is not even just on recommendation of the cabinet, right? There should be a selection commission. That selection committee consisting of Prime Minister, PM, leader of the opposition. In between who? One, two, three. The second person, minister appointed by Prime Minister. So Prime Minister appointed ministers. Generally, the cabinet minister will be appointed. So Prime Minister will appoint one minister out of his cabinet. So last time I think Amit Shah is in the thing. Why that become controversial? Supreme Court previously delivered the judgment stating that here this should be of CJI. But this was overruled by Parliament. They said this. So before Supreme Court stated, it is simply President used to appoint on the recommendation of the cabinet. There is no other committee. But Supreme Court, keep in mind that Election Commission required certain impartiality, honesty, and more importantly, non-partisanship. You should not favor to any ruling party or oppose or against opposition like this. Non-partisanship. Impartiality is one thing, non-partisanship. So Supreme Court came up with the concept of this selection committee. It's something like a CBI director, right? The similar way they thought of a collegium. But it so happens that Parliament came up with an act which overruled the Supreme Court. So finally, government say will prevail. Now it is in the Supreme Court. Chudal, what is going to happen? Okay. And once appointed, who is the present Chief Election Commissioner? Sure. Here I think name is not there, right? It's there. Yeah. So here the few also a quick recollections. Founded 25th January 1950. So is a voters' day, right? Sukumar Sen was the first chief history, and only woman Rama Devi, and now present Rajiv Kumar. So 665, what it is? 6 years of tenure or 65 years of age, whichever comes earlier, later, earlier. Mundu edoste adi, whichever comes earlier, right? So with it, it can be done. So like this, once in elections, you can go on recollect innumerable things relating to. Okay. What is an article? Election Commission 324. Very important. Okay. Article 324. Then, of course, now there's a talked about one elections, one nation, one election, right? So this is what we call simultaneous elections. Recently, the committee submitted its report. The committee was headed by Ramnath Kovind. It favored, but at the same time, there is issue. They suggested how to go ahead. Out of that, we required constitutional amendments. What the articles need to be amended? What need to be added? Can anybody tell? As a recommendation, I choose a point. That is my competitive point. No doubt, from the mains point of view, debate, discussion, is it advisable, not advisable, what are the plus points, make negative point, all are there. If done, what should be. Okay, the area which you have to look into. Okay, so overall, it suggested 15 amendments to the Constitution, not 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that it's possible. That means finally it's possible. That means not impossible. But passing itself is it required lot of will and thing. Okay, so here they said insertion of a new article, especially 82A. So that will establish the process so that both Lok Sabha and assemblies it will be done. Then amendment to Article 327, because 324 onwards election commission related. Power of the parliament here should be expanded to include the conduct of simultaneous election. Now it is a different is there. Lok Sabha separate, parliament separate, assembly separate, like this. Now that has to be done. Similarly, amendments to 83 172. Just make note of this article so later you can check. Okay. Then amendment of laws of UT. UT means Union Territories. Okay. There also you need to require most of it, including, of course, National Capital Territory of Delhi and as well as Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act. Then another bill, this one bill you have to be. Another one, that means totally 2 amendments has to be. Then though 15 changes has to be made. Here the municipalities panchayat will come. Entirely states related. So you need to include a new article 324A that empower the parliament to laws for municipalities and panchayat, because hitherto they have done by state government only. Even you have separate state election commission for that purpose. Now you have to create on this one. And addition of another article 325(2), single electoral roll for Lok Sabha, legislature, local bodies. Now it is not the case. Whenever elections are happening, they are going ahead. So these are the crucial changes required. Okay. So being the competitive student, we need to know this. And if they ask you about specific articles, so what is 325 is talking about? 324, 82, 327, 83. You need not be surprised why they are asking like this. Okay. Present they are there. Isn't it? Now you have to add or amend. Add and ABCD. Once you are doing, you are adding. It's not there at all. Amending is already there, minor change in the wording. Okay. So that you require. And headed by Ramnath Kovind. Now you have to find out very clearly how the polity is transforming. Direct questions very limited. Either twist in question, twisting in answer, and going in depth. Virtually, it is a mains orientation rather than a prelims orientation. It is a newspaper based rather than a textbook based. Okay. No doubt textbook is required for fundamentals. Without that you can't. అది మనకు కంపల్సరీ కావాల్సిందే కదా టెక్స్ట్ బుక్. దాన్ని ఆధారం చేసుకుని కొత్త యాడ్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళాలి. యువర్ నోట్స్ ఈజ్ యువర్ బైబిల్, యువర్ ఖురాన్, యువర్ భగవద్గీత. ఓకే. మీరు సెలక్షన్ అయ్యేంత వరకు అది ఉండాలి. అన్ని దాంట్లో రాసేసుకోండి. నాట్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్స్ ఆర్ ద థింగ్స్. దెన్ యూ కెన్ డూ ద థింగ్స్. Right? Any doubt? So just now we said only citizens will enjoy. Now the new citizenship rules and regulations too came. Citizenship Amendment Act, it amended which act? CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act, right? This is 2019. Now came into force, now gazetted, a bit late. My question is, it amended what? 1955 Citizenship Act. That you need to be aware. That means Citizenship Act is already existing. Is it in the why 1950 itself Constitution came into force? No, why so delay 1955? That means no citizens there. Huh? Citizenship rules and regulations are very much there in the Constitution of India. From which article to which article? 5 to starting చెప్తే అయిపోయిందా 5 to 11 and 11 authorized the parliament to make a detailed provisions. All initial articles deals with, because at the time we have the division of India into India and Pakistan, so who should be, all this article deal with, so in detail who should be, who should not be, that was assigned for the thing, isn't it? From when Indian citizenship rules and regulation came into force? ఇవన్నీ చేస్తా కరెక్ట్ చెప్తే from when Indian citizenship rules and regulation came into force? From when Indian Constitution came into force? 1950 January 26. Is the same day? Absolutely wrong. Rules regarding citizenship came into force from November 26, 1949, the day the Constitution was adopted. Okay, two things: rules regarding citizenship, rules regarding elections commenced immediately. We just waited for 2 months to remember Purna Swaraj Day, so we have January 26. Okay, number of exam it came, civils ఎన్నిసార్లు వచ్చిందో అది, groups, all the things, because that is entirely different. Okay, ఈ పౌరసత్వం సంబంధించింది రాజ్యాంగం ఆమోదించినప్పుడే వచ్చేసింది 26 November 1949. Later 1955 Parliament made a detailed provision who should be, who should not be. Okay, I think last time I posed the question, how do you say that you are Indian citizen? చెప్పమ్మా నవ్వుతుంది. How do you say that you are Indian citizen? నీ ప్రూఫ్ ఏంటి నువ్వు ఇండియన్ సిటిజన్? ఆధార్ కార్డు, ఎలక్షన్ కార్డు, ఆధార్ కార్డు. లేనివాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి ఏంటి మరి? డబ్బులు ఇస్తే వచ్చేస్తాయి కదా. ఓకే, కొంతమందికి. ఓకే, సో ఎనీవో క్విక్ రీకలెక్షన్. Citizenship is when you say this, naturalized. విన్నారా ఈ పదాలు? న్యాచురల్ అంటే either by blood relations or by place of birth. Okay, naturalized means acquired. It may be a marriage, okay, stay, job, government job, assigned, government deliberately given like this. Okay, you will get it. But మన వాళ్ళు కూడా అమెరికా వెళ్తారు, later they become citizen of America, right? All the things like the naturalization, like Sonia now married in Raju, so becoming like this, all the things will be that. So you born here, so I'm Indian. Your parents are Indians, so you are Indian. Isn't it? If that be the case, why the controversy now? Why few people were denied of citizenship? So there are anti-CAA protests are there. Okay, so it's all happened through legal. If it is legal, all right. Here complicated issue is what? Legality. Okay, For example, in 1971, when the Bangladesh liberation time, number of Bangladeshis came to India. Will they have valid passport visa? They just came for survival, their life and property in danger. So we call them as refugees. Once situation normal, they're supposed to go back, isn't it? But it so happened they stay back in India, isn't it? Now, can we grant this illegal in the course of time? Once they stay back on humanitarian ground, assume we permitted, they married Indian, so they become Indians. Later, their children become Indian. Can we encourage? Can the illegal can become legal? Without valid passport visa, you entered, it's illegal. Got it? Now that to make it legal, you adopted a different process by marrying somebody, either the man or woman doesn't matter, married the spouse who is an Indian. So, according to naturalization, they become Indian citizens. Later, children will get because they are born in here, their parents are Indian, so got it. That means illegal become legal. Can you allow like this? Another route, right? Backdoor entry, something like this, but still legal. So that become an issue, and there's an Assam. There's a huge protest. So finally, Assam Accord was signed. Later, citizenship amendment was done. Okay. Then again, changes were made in the course of time. So as per the new changes, legality was put on. If either of the parent is illegal, child will not get citizenship. Okay, that means that illegal person also will not get, either husband or wife, whatever be, can't become. Similarly, child also will not get. Okay, forget about that husband, wife, or the mother or father. What about child? What fault he has done? Isn't it? But still, he can't get your Aadhaar cards or, for that matters, admission into government schools, no government beneficence, no government jobs, no passports, nothing, right? Because you are the no man's land virtually. You are not a citizen of any country. You can't go to foreign also. Then what is the position? So, to address this issue, CAA 2019 was made. So, the main purpose of this CAA 2019 is what? Granting citizenship. To whom? To these illegal migrants. But star marks. It's not to everybody, right? What is the star mark? Only from 3 countries. What are they? Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan. And again, 6 communities. What are they? Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, okay, 6 Parsis, and 3 5 Christians. Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, Sikh, Parsi, Christians. Remember when the Buddhists, Jains, Sikhs, all these are nothing but Hindus, right? Once upon a time. Came out in them. Parsis and Christians. Parsis, some sort of link with Israeli Jewish in a way. Not exactly, but the thing is concerned. Christians. So who are the excluded? Muslims. So Muslims are not here. They are excluded, not included in this. And majority are Muslims. So they are protesting anti-CAA. అది మనకు అర్థం అవ్వాలి చాలా. Okay? Because of that protest, government has not notified immediately. Gazette చేయాలి to come into force. In between, Corona came. Then passed on. Now election time, again come what may, they wanted to. And the deadline, what is the deadline? They should come on or before December 31st, sorry, 2014. December 31st, 2004. That is the deadline. Okay. So that is the law. So which you have to keep in mind those aspects. Okay. Immediately, because number of times the issue is there. Already innumerable exams, these questions are appearing. వస్తున్నాయమ్మా చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండాలి అన్నీ కూడా. ఇవి చాలు మీరు బేసిక్. Okay. Then when requirement, no requirement of valid passport, no requirement of visa, no requirement of language certificate, only proof of entry before only required. Okay, limit proof of is what? You are certifying, self-declaring, affidavit. Okay, so only affidavit can do. Now, నువ్వు రాసేసి ఒక అఫిడవిట్ మీద సైన్ చేసి ఇచ్చేయటమే. No required anything else. తర్వాత ఇంప్రూవ్ అయి చూద్దాం. Okay, like this they simplified the process. And here anything role for the states? Very limited role, because citizenship is completely the subject of central government, union government. Only parliament can do so. Similarly, the collector who belong to the all India services, no doubt will take care, but governed by laws of the union, not of the state. Need not listen to the state at all. State has to provide all facilities, but can't make any changes or can obstruct the process, anything. So like the very limited powers in this process. Okay, so these things you have to keep in mind. Then of course another issue of electoral bonds case. Chairman SBI files compliance affidavit now. So you know pretty well, the Supreme Court delivered judgment on electoral bonds, finally declared them as ultra virus, not coronavirus. Ultra virus means unconstitutional, not in tune with letter and spirit of the constitution. Then we use the word ultra virus. Okay, and ask the SBI, which is an authorized bank, to issue the electoral bonds to submit in details. Last day what they had done is not possible. Then I said, now that everything is in your hands, pick up immediately. Then they submitted each and every aspect. Otherwise we'll consider it as what it called, if you are not followed the court orders, that's called as contempt of court. Very serious, isn't it? Contempt of court. Then they made everything, and now it's become public, and we know now, we don't know whether we called it as a scam or we may call it what name. But one thing is certain, all political parties happily utilized. No doubt ruling party have more edge over the matters. Okay, what is electoral bond? It's something like a DD, demand draft. Okay, is a financial instrument you can purchase. DD మీద మీ పేరు ఉంటుందా? DD ఎప్పుడైనా తీసుకున్నారా? Whose name is there on the DD? మీరు ఎవరికి ఇస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళ పేరు ఉంటుంది, మీకు వచ్చేది ఉండదు, మీ పేరు ఉండదు. Okay, I may take the DD and hand over to you can, but in the bank I have to write. నేను తీసుకుంటున్నాననే ఉండాలి, నువ్వు తీసుకున్నట్టు ఉండదు అక్కడ, నువ్వు వాడుకోవచ్చు. Okay, it's something like this. And the main thing in the electoral bond is whoever donating, because it's all donation to political parties, those names need not be disclosed. No transparency in that. Okay, So Akasaraman laga icheyచ్చు. Nobody knows who has given the things. It can't be questioned. That became an issue now. It is virtually against the good governance principle of probity. One of the thing in the Constitution, right to information, is our fundamental right. Supreme Court declared under which article? Right to information is a fundamental right. Under which article? Constitution అంటే మరి ఏదో ఒకటి ఉండాలి, లింక్ ఉండాలి కదా, ఐదర్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఆర్ ఇంప్లైడ్. రైట్, గెస్ట్ చేయండి. లాజికల్లీ యూ కెన్ కంక్లూడ్. దీనికి పెద్ద విషయం అవసరం లేదు, కొంచెం బుర్ర పెట్టండి చాలు. ఓకే, యూ కెన్ ఈజీలీ conclude that. So, as the probity is an essential, transparency is essential. Whatever the limitations, restrictions is imposed, those should be just, fair and reasonable. In which case Supreme Court delivered that statement. You may impose restrictions on fundamental rights, for any rights, but they should be just, fair and reasonable. Me group 1 lo kuda adigada question. Menaka Gandhi case 1978 is a turning point in a way. From that day onwards, Article 21 was expanded by leaps and bounds. Right to life and to job. It includes everything now. Okay. So, keeping that in mind, anyhow, the quick recollection. So, nearly BJP got more when this amount looks like this. Of course, our BRS also got it. Every party. We can't say that this party or that party. But how much? Nearly 47% plus for the BJP. All parties shared remaining thing. And Amit Shah wonderfully supported. We are having 300 plus MPs, got only 47%. Others are having 200 only, still got. Wonderful logic, right? Really, hats off. How you can support yourself by statistics. Wonderful it is. So logical reasoning counts. Okay. You have to support yourself. Okay. You may or may not accept. Right? Wonderful logic. There is no question. May not be legal in a way. And there's a criticism is also number of parties. When you say this future gaming, given that much, and followed by our mega, involved all major constructions of Telangana and Andhra, right? Then big question mark. Okay. So piche kya hai, right? Something, but something is going behind, right? All these issues are there. So whenever ED, immediately after ED or before ED, these all the things happen individually. So there is some sort of link. The reason why Supreme Court finally said, put an end and make it all transparent. So let's hope the best on this way. Then at the same time, one more thing in this no immunity for bribe. Another case in Sita Soren. They overridden the P.V. Narasimha Rao's case 1998, wherein MLAs, MPs, they don't have any immunities under article not for regarding bribery. This is MLAs, this is MPs. There should be a necessity test has to be done. Two conditions. That's very important from exam point of view. Articles you should keep in mind. Special privileges and immunities for members of parliament. Special privileges and immunity for the states, assembly members. Okay. Whatever they speak in house can't be questioned. Whatever they are owed can't be questioned. But if they take the money and do that, if the bribe happen, isn't it? So this all the thing happen. So taking the bribe and voting. So court addressed this issue and two conditions it left, two-fold test. Make note of this very much. So number one, it says it has to be connected to collective functioning of the house. Collective functioning, not individual agenda of a person or individual party agenda. Overall house is important, not the person, not the political party. Okay, will it satisfied or not? And second necessity, functional relationship in discharge of those duties. Your functioning, will it have any link or not? Individually you are doing, you are voting, you are asking question. Will it have link to your duty or nothing to do with that? So once these two tests fulfill, then only they can avail the privileges and immunities. Otherwise, no. So as the new things, this is very important from both the prelims and mains point of view, these two things. Others anyhow, articles and everything, it will be done. So make note very clearly on this. Yeah, Himabindu mentioned this Maneka Gandhi case. Himabindu cabinet. Good, good. So Aparna, Ramya, and Himabindu are actively participating here. Samuel Dev. Good. Now, got it? Make a note of the two, because these two are very important in this. And it may be a question itself. In the mains, make note of this. Bribery is not rendered immune under this or 194 of the Constitution. Bribery erodes probity in public life. If you ask this question as it is quotation and ask you to explain, and the word in probity is clearly mentioned in your ethics. One chapter itself is there, probity in governance. That itself is a question. Examine. Previous questions are like this. Number of judgments they had taken as it is and kept it. Okay. Similarly, this is also important quote. An individual legislator cannot claim immunity as claim is tethered to collective functioning of the House. The interpretation in Narasimha Rao's case is contrary to Article 105, 194. That itself is maybe the question. So like this, you can generate from the mains point of view the question, then try to answer to the point. Now what to do? How to start the answer? Tell me, if at all this question appeared in mains, what is the first line you will write? You will explain what is 105, 194? Always relevancy. Whenever the quotation appeared, relevancy you have to write. So this is the thing uttered by Supreme Court in so and so case, in so and so related. Then explain the remaining your part. Then only you will get the marks. Otherwise, if you start at explain 115 is a textbook approach, LKG UK approach, you will be treated like LKG UKG wala, not as a matured person, or not, you are not fit into job. Always relevancy is important. Okay, and interpret them into exactly completely into the frame. Okay. Then of course the very hot news. Finally, everybody guessed in a way after Kavita's arrest. Arvind Kejriwal arrested by Enforcement Directorate in the liquor policy scheme. The other day, when you're talking about, because initially I thought of skipping because everybody knows in a way what is liquor policy, right? It's a Delhi government policy. How it was unearthed? Who is the person responsible? Is the cabinet secretary note? He said this because of this policy, around 500 crores plus income we lost. The state government, that is Delhi government, lost 500 crores plus income because of the policy. Though it's a lose for the government, why the government adopted? Because of some kickbacks and everything involved. Simple. That much only you should keep in mind. So, As the financial matters involved, the enforcement directorate stepped in, isn't it? So enforcement directorates are authorized to do all those things. Now tell me quickly, who can tell me whatever question asked? Under which act are the things? Kejriwal or Kavita all get arrested. What are the acts involved? You have to remember that. Not under IPC, CRPCs. They are not understood under this penal code. అవి మనకు కావాలి ఓకే నాట్ దట్ arrested on the political issues మనకు అనవసరం ఈవెన్ సుప్రీం కోర్ట్ ది అదర్ డే rejected Kavita's petition, simply stating you can go to the trial court. Just because you are a politician, you are some celebrity, son or daughter of somebody, court will not look into. All are equal before the eyes of law. Recourse has to be done, right? If something your fundamental rights denied, then Article 32 can invoke. There's nothing like this, right? So no need to invoke the 32, isn't it? So simply ask them to go back. So that's how we got the confidence of the judiciary. It is not for the rich, not for celebrities, not for the persons in bar, for everybody. So what are the acts involved? Because those are the things in the examination you will get. A quick recollection, when we are discussing about Article 22, the Article 22, what it is there, Article 22? Detention, arrest. Government can arrest anybody, but conditions apply. Reason should be there, right? Time should be given to meet with counsel. Then 24 hours it should be. But there are certain things, exemptions. They must do that. And one of the thing is Kofi Posa. Have you remembered this? What is Kofi Posa? Himabindu mentioned Money Laundering Act, right? Okay. What is Kofi Posa? ఇంతసేపా కన్జర్వేషన్ ఆఫ్ foreign exchange and prevention of smuggling activities act, way back 1974 we have. Okay, conservation of, those who are not aware, make note of it. Conservation of foreign exchange and prevention of smuggling activities act. Conservation of foreign exchange, FE, foreign exchange, prevention of smuggling activities act, 1974 itself. So name itself is clear, right? Now if something happen, who is looking to all this foreign exchange related? So enforcement directorate is empowered to look into this. If anything is contravention of FEMA, is another act come, foreign exchange, you have separate act called as FEMA, foreign exchange. M stands for Management Act, which here all triple nines, 1999. Good. Because previously there are innumerable laws relating to, now this act was actually made 99. It doesn't mean that there are no acts before. Innumerable are there. So they consolidated all foreign exchange related laws, because it's civil law, right? Not the criminal law. It's a civil law. To consolidated all these things and made this one. Now who is empowered? because orderly is important regarding the external trade. For that, if something gone wrong, ED now, Enforcement Directorate has looked into this. And then came PMLA. To implement this, you have the PMLA. Link is there. Once you establish this link, then you can understand easily. So that's what now the symbol mentioned is money laundering, no doubt. What is the P stands for? Prevention of money laundering. A stands for Act 2002. Once in RBI examination, they posed this question. PMLA was made by Indian Parliament, right? On the recommendations of, or in tune, not recommendation, in tune with. దేనికి అనుగుణంగా, దేని కోసం. Okay, I'm subject to correction as it is a question. It was done. It's on the recommendations of, this PMLA was made on the recommendations of FATF. वो क्या है? FATF, Financial Action Task Force. Is this India's? It's a world one. A G7 countries initiative. Okay, to do that. So, not for just India, for all the member countries of FATF, it was, as India is a member, we need to adhere to. Otherwise, we will be blacklisted or grey listed. Isn't it? So, to put an end to this terror financing is the main aim of this Financial Action Task Force. So, the countries concerned has to take certain steps. Why Pakistan was for a long time is under FATF grey list, isn't it? Because we alleged that they are doing some terror financing. All these things happen, money laundering part, all this, okay, Hawala trade and all the thing is concerned. So, to put an end, as India is a member, which we made this PMLA. ఇవి మనం తెలుసుకోవాలి. సో అందరిలాగా ఏదో అనుకోవద్దు, సేనా బాగుంది చేస్తూ ఉంది అంటే, ఆర్ వై, దిస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ద లేమెన్ విల్ డిస్కస్. ఓకే, వీ హ్యావ్ టు బి స్పెసిఫిక్ అండ్ టు ద ఎగ్జామ్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ. And once you are aware of this, I am sure that it can be done. So now ED was empowered all these issues. Then there's one more act, because the very statutory function of this, the FEOA. This is another act which you have to keep in mind. Fugitive Economic Offenders Act 2018. FUGITIVE, Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. As now number of economic offenders, that's to white collar crimes are happening, and like Lalit Modi, Nirav Modi, right, or Vijay Mallya, what they are doing something and disappearing from here. Okay, home boom pattananga వెళ్ళిపోతుంది, they are in the foreign countries, right, మాయమైపోతున్నారు. ఎట్లా అవుతున్నారు వాళ్ళకి తెలియదు, రైట్. అనిల్ ఉన్నాడా ఇండియాలో? కవితాస్ హస్బెండ్ ఉన్నాడా, మాయమైపోయాడా? ఈడీ నోటీస్ ఇచ్చింది కదా, ఇంకెళ్ళలేదు మరి. Okay, so we have to see this. Okay, we don't know. So they will just disappearing, staying in another country, taking shelter. Now how to get back them is a big issue. Who will take care? ఎవరు చూడాలి మరి వీళ్ళని? వీళ్ళు చేశారు లేదు ప్రూవ్ అని ఎవరు చేయాలి? Again, ED was entrusted with this task. సో ఇండియాలోనే కాదు, బయట ఎక్కడున్నా కూడా పట్టుకొచ్చారు. ఓకే, అందువల్ల ఇప్పుడు అనిల్ మాయమైపోయి ఇంకో చోటకెళ్ళినా ఓకే పట్టుకురా ఇస్ ద డ్యూటీ ఇఫ్ నాట్ టుడే టుమారో. కేజ్రీవాల్ అంతే కదా, 8 times సమ్మన్ ఇచ్చారు, 9th time finished, isn't it? So finally even court also said helpless, isn't it? The investigation you have to cooperate, you can't say that, so otherwise something is there, isn't it? Just because you are so and so, you are not beyond the law, isn't it? Whether ED is right or wrong, whether Modi is behind ED or on the ED or under the ED is next question. Take it, DDs are there, but still you have to be DD. You have to say yes, yes. No option. Law is the law. You have to fight with the law only. You have to be work in tune with the law. You have to adhere to that your compliance with the laws. At the same time, you may fight against that law. There is nothing wrong in that. But according to law, even your fight should be. You have to take the legal course. That's how the things, and these things you just keep in mind so that comfortably you can answer those aspects. Okay, that's how you have to take care about the issues. Then of course one more, Supreme Court, regarding High Court superintendence power. High Court has superintendence over the district courts. Will the Supreme Court have the similar superintendence over the High Court? And clearly says no. Only High Court can guide district court what to do, what not to do. Administration comes under. But high courts are independent entity. Or high court judgment it may review, but you don't have the power vis-a-vis the administration of high courts are concerned. And Supreme Court itself made it very clear this issue. Okay, no superintendence of power. So this is all now Article 227. So take note of this aspect. Then, of course, UCCA, number of times we discussed. Now, the Uttarakhand recently passed, but it was referred to President. Finally, President can. Because state government, once made a law, if something, a controversial issue, then, or against any central laws, or not in tune with the Constitution, Governor can reserve the bill for the consideration of President. So here it was done, and President has gave his assent. So no issue. Can President reject? Yes. President has a veto power on state legislations, but not on central legislations. Parliament chattal maximum one time he can send it back, second time can't. But state, it's not the case. He can say absolute no. But anyhow, in this case, it was done. This what is 144? Under directive principles of state policy is clearly mentioned. States should strive for going for UCC. In tune with this, they had done. Anyhow, last time we discussed in detail, that is all right. And in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the issues of the governors are there, but in Telangana, the governor, before the governor resigned, entered into politics. Now the new governor is appointed or temporary. He is the governor of Jharkhand, now additional charge as the governor of both Telangana as well as Andhra. No, already Jharkhand, additionally he got two. Puducherry, not of Andhra. Andhra has its own governor. Okay, so 57, 58, try to recollect and do that. Oh, citizenship. Then Panama, it became 97th country to ratify Solar Alliance. Okay, so International Solar Alliance, ISA, right, is an initiative of India and which country? France. So to encourage non-renewable sources of energy, you have 120 plus countries already signed. And this ratification means what? Concerned country's parliament has to approve. Say yes. So it was done already, it came into force. So another 3 were waiting, it was the century part. Then of course Sweden officially now join in NATO. So how many countries now? 32. 31 is Yeah, previously the Finland. Now NATO is expanding by leaps and bounds. See this, when 1949 founded, this is the thing. When 1596, you have this part. Whereas 97 2022, so many joinings are there. All these are nothing but once upon time USSR. Okay, now become independent. Okay, and still these are applying. Ukraine, Crimea, those are there, but Crimea, of course, under directly control of Russia. It was annexed all the way. Okay, so this is just a statistics that you can keep in mind. Then Agni 5 with MIRV tech, it made it. Now see this, entire world virtually, it came under the part of Agni. Agni is a missile. So Agni 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whom we call the father of missiles, right? Abdul Kalam. So those things you can just keep in mind. Jatayu. What is Jatayu? So it's a naval base coming up, second naval base in Lakshadweep. Now that Lakshadweep is very much in the news because of this Modi's issue and Maldives part is concerned. So now we are got to the second. Where is the first one? This is the second naval base. First naval base is where? Karnataka Kavarati. Kavarati is the first one. This is the second naval base. So those things you can just keep in mind. So any doubts? So thank you very much and see you tomorrow or next week. Next week. Any doubts? Right. Thank you very much. Bye.